I'm a visual artist based in Bangalore. My art practice involves sculpture, installation, as well as tech based art. When I first started out, my primary focus was on public art and outdoor sculpture. And over the years, I've developed an interest in technology based art. So I'd like to show you first a couple of my important public art projects and then a couple of my very recent digital art projects. This work is called Metamorphosis, and it was a site-specific project for Cubbon Park. The whole sculpture is carved out of a fallen tree trunk, which is sourced from within the park itself. Now, this was a silver oak tree which was about 50 to 60 years old, and it had fallen down during that year's monsoon. And the park director, he invited me to use it as material for a sculpture. So, what's interesting is I managed to convert it into a sculpture, ensuring that it lives on in a new avatar for a few more decades. I carved the tree trunk to represent a caterpillar, and I've got about 70 stainless steel butterflies emerging out of it. The reason behind this is a commemorative sculpture made for India's 70th year of independence. That's why I used 70 butterflies. And in this context, I'm using the butterfly as a symbol to denote the passage of time. Now, the butterfly is a very powerful symbol. It lends itself to various interpretations. So I've used it in various contexts, and in this particular context, I've thought it would be a great way to talk about the evolution of a person, the evolution of a nation. So that's why I've used them here. And that's how this whole symbol of butterfly entered my artistic vocabulary. This public art project was done in 2016, and later on in 2018, when I started making a smaller body of work called Trilokini. It was a series of small female forms which engaged with the ideas of sustainability. And in this context, again, I use the butterflies. In this particular sculpture, I've used them as bioindicators. Now, butterflies are very sensitive creatures. A lot of scientists study them because they are the first ones to leave if a habitat becomes unsustainable. So they actually denote the health of a particular ecosystem. And I found that quite interesting, so I started using them in my smaller works as well. The second public art project I want to talk about is called Biosphere. This was commissioned by a tech park in Bangalore. Here, I wanted to change the idea of the globe from a geographical or political representation to a kind of pure elemental form that reminds us of the earth, the natural world, etc. I wanted it to be representative of a timeless world devoid of any political demarcations, borders, etc. And the use of the color blue is quite deliberate. I wanted to reference the oceans. Now, the earth is round only because it has water in it. If you remove the water, it has a completely different shape. It's no longer spherical. So, again, sphere is a very recurring element in my work. I've engaged with it in many of my artworks over a period of 10 years. After the large installation was completed, I made a series of about 6 to 7 smaller sculptures, which again explored the biosphere concept in more detail. And these are a couple of images. This is one of my most recent digital art installations. It was shown in Mumbai during the Mumbai Gallery Weekend in 2019, and it was part of a major art and technology show that was curated by Dr. Arshia Lokanwala for the Bajaj Foundation. This installation, it's about 20 feet by 10 feet. It's a walkthrough, immersive, and interactive installation. It features an Android app, which is called hashtag Who Are You? And it explores the notion of personal identity in the digital age. Now, these days, the selfie has become a primary mode of expression for a lot of people, to the extent that people are willing to risk their lives for that perfect selfie shot. In fact, India has the highest number of selfie deaths. Now, I found this quite alarming, and this was one of the topics I wanted to touch upon in my installation. So the first room of the installation, it alludes to an actor's backstage and also to the incoherent space that we call the subconscious mind. And walking deeper inside the space, the viewer encounters the selfie app which I've designed, which is called hashtag Who Are You? and they can use this app to cast themselves as protagonists in their digital performance, so to speak. They have about 10 avatars to choose from, and each avatar is a parody on a particular social or digital phenomena. For example, I have the dangerous selfie avatar, which references the selfie deaths. Then we have the social media celebrity, Bitcoin billionaire. These are avatars that talk about questionable identities that have suddenly come into focus of late in this new millennia. And we also have this magazine cover avatar, which taps into the pop culture craze of the millennials searching for instant fame and success. And these are some of the images that the viewers have taken using the app. And they also have the option of printing them and leaving them behind in on one of the walls in the installation where I've called it the selfie wall of fame, and people were very happy to engage with it and interact with the whole installation. Now, once you're inside the installation, the viewer must navigate a maze of narratives to construct their own sense of reality and answer the question, who are you? This is another digital art project which I made for Under the Rain Tree Women's Cultural Festival last year. These are three small works which talk about some of the feminist concerns of today. For example, the first work is called Normalize Equality, the second one is called Close the Pay Gap, and the third is called We Shall Be Heard, which talks about the Me Too movement. Now, there is a hidden digital layer in each of these artworks, which you can only see through a mobile phone app. You have to turn on the app and scan the artwork, and you see the hidden animated layer on your phone. Now, this digital layer, while adding another dimension to the artwork, also alludes to the fact that while we have traveled leaps and bounds in terms of technological advancement, we are still negotiating for basic rights as far as women's empowerment is concerned. So, that's the premise behind this body of work. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me and my art practice. Thank you to Ananya Drishya for giving me this opportunity.